Right now, inside your loft, something is happening that most homeowners never discover until it is already too late. Rats are not passing through. They are nesting, breeding, and multiplying in the exact dark corners above your ceiling, above your insulation, above your family. Pest control companies will charge you between $800 and $2,000 to treat a single infestation. They will come back every few months, and they will charge you again. What they will never tell you is that a powder costing less than $1, available in virtually every hardware store on the planet, ends a rat colony overnight, permanently, and requires no specialist, no contract, and no repeat visits. This is the story of what that powder is, why it was buried, and exactly how to use it tonight. The pest control industry in the United States alone generates over $9 billion every year. In the United Kingdom, the figure runs into hundreds of millions of pounds annually, and the engine that keeps those numbers growing is not rats. It is repeat business. Homeowners are robbed quietly and systematically through a model deliberately designed to treat symptoms rather than causes. Technicians arrive in branded vans, spray a chemical barrier around the perimeter, set a handful of bait stations, hand you an invoice for $300 to $500, and schedule their return visit before they have even left your driveway. The rats are back within weeks, sometimes days, because the treatment was never designed to solve the problem permanently. You were never meant to know about the one substance that could make their entire service model completely irrelevant. Families across the United Kingdom and America have spent thousands of dollars over years on contracts, call-outs, and consultations for an infestation that could have been eliminated in a single night for the price of a cup of coffee. That exploitation ends today. By the time this video is over, you will know the exact name of the powder, where to find it for under $1, the precise way to apply it in your loft so that no rat in any corner of that space survives past the following morning, and why it works on a biological level that makes resistance virtually impossible. You will also understand why pest control companies have quietly lobbied against public awareness of this method for decades, and I will show you the single mistake that people make when they apply this powder. A mistake that renders it completely ineffective and leaves your infestation exactly where it started. Stay with me, because that detail alone is worth every remaining minute of this video. The substance at the center of this story is not new. It has been used in agricultural settings since the early 20th century, widely documented in pest management literature stretching back to the 1930s and 40s. Farmers in rural America and across the British countryside understood it instinctively, passed down through generations of practical knowledge about grain storage, barn maintenance, and the control of vermin without chemicals that would compromise the food supply. And this is where it gets interesting. As commercial pest control emerged as a formal industry in the 1950s and 60s, the economics were immediately obvious to those building that industry. A product that worked once and permanently generated no repeat revenue. A product that required no specialist application generated no billable labor. So what happened was not a conspiracy written in a single boardroom memo. It was quieter than that. It was the systematic deprioritization of public knowledge. Agricultural extension services that once taught this method were defunded or redirected toward commercial solutions. Hardware store staff were never trained in it. And the marketing arms of the growing pest chemical industry poured enormous resources into positioning their own branded poisons, repellents, and monthly service contracts as the only credible and responsible solution available to homeowners. By the 1980s, an entire generation of families had grown up with no working knowledge of what their grandparents had considered basic common sense. What they did not want you to realize is that the knowledge never disappeared. It was simply buried under 4 decades of industry advertising, and it has been sitting in plain sight in every hardware and farm supply store the entire time. The method survived in agricultural circles. It survived in old pest management textbooks, and it survived among a quiet community of property maintenance professionals who applied it privately and effectively, while their clients kept paying for monthly service contracts on homes that should have been permanently solved on day one. What I am about to show you is the part the industry spent decades making sure you would never find out. Not simply the name of the powder, that part is straightforward. The part that changes everything is the specific condition under which it must be applied inside a loft environment. Because there's one critical variable that determines whether this method works overnight or fails completely. And most people applying it for the first time get that variable entirely wrong. Stay with me. The powder is diatomaceous earth, food-grade diatomaceous earth to be precise. And before you dismiss it as something you may have half heard of in a gardening context, understand what it actually does, because the mechanism is fundamentally unlike any chemical poison currently sold through the pest control industry. Diatomaceous earth is composed of the fossilized skeletal remains of microscopic aquatic organisms called diatoms. Under a microscope, each particle is razor sharp at the edges. To a human being, a child, or a household pet, it is completely inert and harmless, Food-grade diatomaceous earth is added to commercial grain storage specifically because it poses zero toxicological risk to mammals. But to a rodent moving through a treated area, what happens next is a specific and irreversible biological crisis. The sharp silica particles penetrate and abrade the oils and waxy membrane that protect a rat's skin and fur at the microscopic level, disrupting the body's ability to retain moisture. The animal experiences accelerating dehydration that no amount of drinking water can reverse. Because the damage is not internal, it is structural at the surface level, and it compounds with every movement the rat makes through the treated zone. There is no immunity. There is no resistance that can develop over generations the way rats have developed resistance to warfarin-based poisons. The physics of the mechanism do not change. A rat cannot evolve a different relationship with sharp silica particles. This is the part that took researchers decades to figure out. Not how to make poison stronger, but how to use a completely passive, non-chemical substance that defeats the rodent's biology with no toxicology at all. Most people who rate about diatomaceous earth online apply it loosely and incorrectly and then conclude it does not work. Here's what nobody else will tell you about the application process, and here's where the difference between success and failure lives entirely. First, you need food-grade diatomaceous earth specifically, not pool-grade, not industrial-grade. Pool-grade diatomaceous earth has been heat-treated and chemically altered for water filtration purposes, and while it looks identical in the bag, its particle structure has been changed in ways that dramatically reduce its effectiveness as a pest control agent. Food grade is labeled clearly and is widely available at farm supply stores, certain hardware retailers, and online for between $8 and $15 for a 5-pound bag, enough to treat an average loft space 2 to 3 times over. When you're ready to apply it, you will need a simple puffer or duster applicator, the kind sold for applying powders into wall cavities, available for $2 to $4. Do not attempt to apply diatomaceous earth with your hands or by simply pouring it. You need a fine, consistent dust layer, and the puffer creates that. Now here is the critical variable, the one that makes or breaks the entire method. The powder must remain completely dry. This is non-negotiable. Diatomaceous earth is rendered entirely ineffective by moisture. The moment the particles absorb water, their sharp edges are coated and blunted, and the abrasive mechanism is neutralized. So before you apply it, you need to identify and resolve any moisture source in your loft. Check around pipe penetrations. Check the underside of the roof felt. Check around any water tanks. If there is active moisture in your loft space, address it first. Once the space is confirmed dry, move to application. Work systematically from the far corners of the loft toward the access hatch so you are never stepping through freshly treated areas. Apply a visible layer, not a dusting, a genuine layer of white powder, along every wall floor junction, around any pipe or cable penetrations, and specifically in the corners where walls meet roof timbers, because those are the primary rodent runways. Rats navigate by touch, running their flanks and whiskers along fixed surfaces. They will pass through every layer you have placed. Most people stop here, do not. Once the perimeter is treated, create a coverage zone across the central floor area as well, working the puffer so that the insulation surface itself carries a fine coating. Any rat that moves anywhere in that loft space will contact the powder repeatedly. Replace any insulation you have disturbed and leave the space untouched for 48 hours. Do not re-enter during that period, do not add ventilation, and do not disturb the powder layer. Warning: wear a dust mask during application. Diatomaceous earth is completely non-toxic, but fine silica dust of any kind should not be inhaled in quantity during the application process itself. A basic dust mask from any hardware store is all the protection you need. Before this story wraps up, there's one more thing about diatomaceous earth that almost nobody in the mainstream conversation about it ever mentions. This powder does not just eliminate the rats currently living in your loft, because it remains effective indefinitely as long as it stays dry. A single application creates a permanent treated zone that any new rodent entering the space will encounter. You're not just solving today's infestation, you're changing the loft itself into an environment that is permanently hostile to rodent habitation. Pest controllers sell you the idea of an ongoing barrier that requires their regular maintenance. What they do not sell you is a passive, self-maintaining barrier that you apply once and leave. That is precisely what a dry diatomaceous earth layer in a sealed loft space represents. Now consider what you have been spending and what this actually costs. A professional pest control call-out for a loft rat infestation runs between $300 and $800 for the initial visit in the United States, and between $150 and £400 in the United Kingdom. Most companies then recommend a quarterly maintenance contract, running anywhere from $600 to $1,200 per year. Over 5 years, a homeowner under a standard pest control contract will typically spend between $3,000 and $6,000 on a problem that a $12 bag of food-grade diatomaceous earth and a $3 puffer applicator would have solved permanently on the first night. Before this method, the standard domestic approach involved snap traps, which require daily checking, regular rebaiting, and the removal of bodies, often in inaccessible corners, combined with rodenticide blocks that carry a genuine risk of secondary poisoning to pets and local wildlife, and which rats, in many regions, have now developed significant resistance to. The diatomaceous earth method requires one application, no monitoring, no rebaiting, no dead body retrieval, no poison risk, and no professional. Homeowners who have applied it correctly report finding no living rats within 36 to 48 hours, and no recurrence in the months and years that follow, as long as the powder layer remains dry and undisturbed. Here is where this story does not end, and this is the part that every homeowner with a rat problem in their loft needs to understand before they feel fully satisfied. Eliminating the colony is the first step, but how the rats got into your loft in the first place is a structural question, and it is one that connects to a much larger and far more expensive problem than the infestation itself. Entry points in a loft are almost never obvious. They are not a hole in the wall you can see from the garden. They are a 3-centimeter gap where a soffit board has warped away from the fascia. They are a cracked mortar joint around an old roof tile. They are a gap around a pipe penetration that was never properly sealed during a bathroom renovation 3 owners ago. And those same gaps that let rats into your loft are doing something else simultaneously, something that most homeowners will not discover until they either get a full roofline inspection or begin noticing very specific signs of a different kind of damage. What those gaps are doing to your home when it is not rats coming through them is a story that connects to a repair bill that makes a pest control contract look like loose change. That investigation is what comes next.